Guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Din and I'm going to show you how to prepare your ingredients, mix the spices and then cook the dish. Very simple method I'm going to use, so please follow the instructions carefully. So let's cook. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to cook Kofta curry and I'm also going to make some Sheik Kababs, so 2 in 1 basically. So these are the ingredients we need. We need 800 grams of mincemeat, lamb mince I'm using here, and I've asked the butcher to put a little bit extra fat in it because the extra fat will melt away when we're cooking, and it also make the kebab moist, not dry. Right, let's get our onions together. First we need 2 lots of onions, one for our kofta curry and one for our Sheik Kabab. For the Sheik Kabab we also need some garlic and ginger, so chop that up. I'm going to make it quite simple today and basically put everything in a food processor so it mixes it quicker and also binds it together much tighter so that it doesn't fall apart when you're cooking. Normally I would just mix it by hand and not with a blender, but I've made it simpler so you can just quickly do it yourselves, and it's done very easily without any problems. So just cut your coriander like so, and your green chilies. So we've got green chilies and onion, garlic and ginger, all going to go in the food processor first, as you can see. But what we're going to do is basically mix all the mincemeat up together. So we're going to use half for our Sheik Kababs and half for our Kofta curry. So we'll first blend the ingredients so it's much smaller, so it's not going to get too much blended when we put the meat in. If you have a good butcher, you can ask him to make the mincemeat for you and basically add a little bit extra fat. Lean meat is not good for this recipe. With a little spatula, just bring it down again. We want it really fine as possible, so when we put the meat in, it doesn't blend too long. This also helps to hold the meat together without using any binding agents like flour or egg. It's just the meat, onions, chili and coriander, garlic and ginger all together. As you can see. Now we're going to add our meat and also the spices, so it all mixes together. Right, now add your salt. So put in about just over 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Now add the other spices. That's cumin powder, about a teaspoon of cumin powder, some Kashmir red chili powder, same again, about a teaspoon, That's like a heaped teaspoon I'm putting in, and a heaped teaspoon of coriander powder as well. Now we just quickly blend this up and that should be done. Now what I normally do is just put this in a bowl and then leave it in the fridge for a little while. You can make this day before if you want and just leave it in the fridge, cover it with some cling film, and then you can make your balls the following day. With Indian cooking there is no time scale really. You can leave it in the fridge, and mincemeat like this will keep in the fridge for at least a couple of days. Taste it for the salt. It's fine to taste raw meat like this. This chicken you have to be worried about. Right, let's get the kofta curry going while we make the balls. So first in the frying pan, put your oil and also cumin seeds. We've got our garlic and ginger paste, cinnamon, bay leaves and cardamom. Give that a little stir. This is quite a rich curry. It's very tasty as well, eaten with bread or rice. I prefer it with chapatis myself. That's what I'm going to eat it with today. But you know, you can have it with rice or paratha. It all goes well. I've just added some salt in now. So what we're going to do is bring this to the boil like I normally do, and after adding everything we're going to stew this for a good 40 minutes to soften the onions, so the onions break down, makes a lovely sauce. Once it gets to this stage, this is where we're going to add our tomatoes. I use 3 tomatoes for this, fresh tomatoes, and we're also going to use some tomato paste as well. I managed to get hold of some tomato paste from Morocco, and it looks quite rich, so I've never tried it before, but I'm sure it'll be very good. So give that a good stir and let that break down for a little while. Right, let's make our balls now, but before we do I want to add half a teaspoon of Gram Masala. Keep an eye on our kofta sauce, make sure that it doesn't stick or burn. Put a little bit of fresh coriander in at this stage as well. You can put it in at the end, but I like it to break down into the sauce. It's nearly ready now. We're going to add some water and just let it stew down even more and break down even more, so the onions are really melted. This is a quick process to break down the onions and all the ingredients in the saucepan so that it's nice and soft. Now we can add the water. This is looking good now. So So after the onions have been cooking for a while, what you can do is take out the skins. I think instead of cutting it small, the tomato, you can leave it a little bit whole, and then what happens, the skins will be less. You just pick out 4 skins or 3 skins, as many tomatoes you put in, basically. Then with a potato masher, what we're going to do is just smash the onions a little bit, so the sauce is getting more breaking down, as you can see. This is a good way to break the onions down, I find. You do this before you going to add your spices, basically. Yeah, this is looking nice now. This is going to make a nice, lovely sauce for our kofta balls. I've put a little bit of jaggery. You can put a teaspoon or so of sugar as well. Jaggery is like unrefined sugar. Now is the time that we're going to start adding our spices. First we add the Kashmir chili powder. This gives it a nice rich colour as well, not too hot. You can add a little bit of hot chili powder as well. Then we add the cumin powder and the paprika. And the turmeric. And last of all, we're going to add the coriander. Now what we want to do is basically keep giving this a stir. By stirring, what we're doing as well, as you know, we're breaking down the onions. So the more you stir it at this stage, you get a smoother sauce. So you keep stirring and kind of breaking down the onions, and this is what will give us a nice sauce. What we're going to do is basically cook the spices a little before we put the water. You see the oil start to appear now, because we've reduced the water content right down at this stage, just before we add the spices. This way the spices can fry in the oil. You may think, oh, where's the oil? The oil is there, you'd be surprised. Once we put the water in, you see the oil appear. This is methi, so give that a good rub between your hands, break it down a little. This is a nice herb. I first used this herb back in the 80s when I created a dish called methi chicken. It sold quite well and people really enjoyed it. Basically it's a chicken curry with methi. And I think methi always tastes better if you have it a little bit hotter, the curry. Right, keep stirring it, breaking down the onions like so, and you see it'll form a nice sauce once we add the water to it. To this, I'm going to add probably about 4 cups of water. That will give us a nice sauce. That's a little bit of mustard I'm putting in as well for extra flavour. With curries you can add little bits and bobs just to enhance the flavours. You can see what it tastes like, and if it works, that's fine. If it doesn't, leave it out next time. Basically, you can experiment. That's the beauty of curry. You know, if you haven't got tomato paste, you can always add tomato ketchup. Now we're basically ready to start adding our water little bit by little bit. We're going to add in total 4 cups of water for our sauce, and that should give us a nice rich thickness as well as a nice rich sauce. So add a little at a time and keep stirring. You know, what we're trying to do is make a smooth sauce. As you can see, it's starting to look like a paste, the sauce. So if you add a little bit at a time, put the heat up high so it doesn't burn, and keep stirring it. Just add a little at a time, and as you can see, the sauce is starting to come together, and we should have a nice sauce. Once you've added all your water, bring it to the boil, and then basically put it aside to add your meatballs. Don't put it on the burner, just leave it aside. Now we're going to start making our meatballs. I'm going to make 15 balls with this mince meat and keep the rest for Sheik Kabab. And if you're like me, have your mother-in-law living with you, my 93-year-old mother-in-law, get her to help you make the meatballs and give her something to do as well. But sometimes it's more hassle than it's worth. Anyway, let's start frying our minced balls. We're going to fry them gently so they're all golden brown all round, all over basically. Make sure the oil is nice and hot. So we want the oil to be medium to high so they brown quickly. All we're doing is getting a colour to our meatballs so they look nice when we're eating them. If you've got a nice frying pan, big one, just do them all together. If not, do them in 2 batches. Give it a few minutes, then turn them. We all want all our meatballs nice and golden brown, so keep the oil quite high, not too high. We want to just kind of caramelise the meatballs all round to give it a nice colour, so that when we're eating them they look good as well. It's all to do with presentation. Also, I think it gives a nice taste to the meatballs as well. So just keep on turning them as they're frying gently, just one by one, just turning them over, so rotating them to the areas where it needs cooking. And then as soon as they're ready and all coloured nice and brown, then we're ready to go and put them in our sauce. They're cooking really nicely now. We're nearly there. They're nicely brown now. Now we're going to just take them out and put them in the sauce. Once we put them all in the sauce, what we're going to do is bring everything to a boil, and then put the lid on and simmer cook it for about half an hour, and then it's done. As you can see, the oil is coming up. That gives the oil gives the curry a nice texture, but too much oil is not very good. So I always try to limit the amount of oil in my curries. There you go. So you got the oil just floating on the top. This is after about half an hour, so it's all done. We're going to plate it now. This is a nice rich curry, as you can see. I'm sure you'll enjoy this curry. I certainly do, and everyone I serve it to does as well. Sprinkle a little bit of coriander for decoration. There you go, my kofta curry. Now let's make a sheik kebab with the rest of the mincemeat we have. I'm going to put a little bit of food colour just to give it the redness of sheik kebab. So give that a good mix. When you're making your balls or on your sheik kebab, you can make it any size you want, but I'm just doing it quickly, so it's not going to be absolutely perfect. But I can assure you they'll be really tasty and you'll enjoy them. They have a really nice taste, these sheik kebabs, so you must try it. I think sometimes things shouldn't look perfect, so it looks more natural. Once you've got it on the stick, you can brush it with a little bit of oil as well. I've never really made it with these kind of bamboo skewers. I've always done it on the big sheik kebab skewers, what you put in the tandoori oven. So this is a first for me on these skewers. So just cover it with a little bit of oil like I'm doing. Make the shape. You can roll it out like a sausage first and then just put the skewer right through it. It'd probably be much quicker that way. So I've lined a baking tray with foil to have less residue when you go to clean it. So just cover it with a little bit of oil, and as you can see, it's sitting on the foil, so when you turn it, it'll be easier to turn. So get your grill at a hot temperature before you put them in, so they're going to cook very quickly. So I've put it on 220°C here. So once you see they've gone a little bit brown, then try to turn them. I'm not having much luck here, so but you'll find your way. Just turn them gently and then put them back in for another few minutes. Keep an eye on them that they don't burn. Right, they look ready, they look done. This one needs a little bit more. That one looks a little bit too done, but I'm sure they will taste nice. Now you can serve this with salad and some mint sauce. Mint sauce is easily made. We used to sell sheik kebabs a lot in the restaurant and serve it with mint sauce with salad just like this. There you go. That's my sheik kebab. I hope you enjoy, and let me know how you get on. Bye for now.